In this lesson, we're going to have a look at geometric sequences, in particular the nth term of a geometric sequence and the sum of a finite geometric sequence. But first of all, what is a geometric sequence? Well, we learned with arithmetic sequences that it was a sequence where the terms had a common difference between them, so we added a number on each time to get from one term to the next. Geometric sequence is similar, but we multiply by a particular number each time. So an example of a geometric sequence would be 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on, because what we're doing to get from term to term is multiplying by 2 each time. So if we multiply by the same number to get from one term to the next, then the sequence is geometric. So in a geometric sequence, A is the first term, and the thing that we multiply by to get from term to term is called the common ratio. R is the common ratio between terms. And just like before, U with a subscript means term of a sequence. So in this case, U1, the first term of a geometric sequence, is always A. U2 is A multiplied by the common ratio. U3 is AR squared, all the way down to UN, which is AR to the power of n minus 1. There's always one less common ratio than the term number. So this here is an important formula that you need to learn that's not given on the formula sheet. But one formula that is given on the formula sheet is this one here, for the sum of the first n terms of any geometric sequence. So we know what A is, it's the first term. We know what R is, it's the common ratio between terms. And n, just like in arithmetic sequences, the number of terms to be summed. So that's the introduction. And from having done arithmetic sequences, you've got the experience now to be able just to jump straight into this. So let's have a look at some example questions. And here's one such example. So it says, for the following geometric sequences, find the required terms. So it's asking us to find the 10th term in the geometric sequence in which A is 10 and R equals 1.2. So if you think you can do this, pause it, have a go, then check against my answer. And I'll start with this one. So part A, so we've got A equals 10 and R equals 2. Well, we know that the formula for the nth term is AR to the n minus 1. So that means that the 10th term, which we'll denote by U10, equals A R to the n minus 1. 10 minus 1 is 9. And let's put that in the calculator. So 10 times 1.2 to the power of 9, which is 51.598. So my rule for significant figures, the final answer needs to be correct to at least 3 significant figures, unless stated otherwise in the question. So giving more than that is always a good thing. Part B. The 8th term in a sequence in which A is 100 and R equals 0.5. Okay, so we've got U8 equals A, which is 100, R, which is 0.5, to the power of n minus 1, which is 7. So putting that in the calculator, A, R, to the n minus 1 is 25/32. Nice exact answer, so we'll leave it like that. So that's use of the nth term formula. Let's make it a little bit more complicated now. So this second example says a geometric sequence has second term 80 and fifth term 10. Now the strategy before we read any further is to write this mathematical fact down, both of them, in mathematical notation. So before we've even read what the question's asking us, the second term, I know, because the formula for the nth term is ar to the n minus 1, well, the second term will have formula ar. First term a, second term ar. So ar equals 80. And the fifth term, ar to the 4, equals 10. So now part A asks us to find A and R. Well, using the two bits of information we've got now, we've got equations A and B, I'm going to call it. If I take the one with the highest power of R and divide by the one with the lowest power of R, well, let's do it and see what happens. Let's do B divided by A. So pause it and have a go yourself. See what doing B divided by A gets us. So I'll continue. So on the left hand side we get AR to the 4 over AR. And on the right hand side we've got 10 divided by 80. So doing a bit of simplifying, I can see A divided by A is 1, so they cancel. R to the power of 4 divided by R is R cubed equals 1/8, which means that R equals 1/2. So the common ratio we found to be 1/2. So if you can find A from this point, pause it, do it yourself. So I've got AR, so A times 1/2 equals 80. So times both sides by 2 means that A equals 160. So the first term in the sequence is 160. The value of R is 1/2. So looking now at part B, find the value of the 8th term in the sequence. So actually this is a little bit of an easier mark. It's just using the nth term formula. So it's asked us to find U8. If you can do it, pause it and go for it. So U8 is A times R to the n minus 1, which is equal to, so 160 times, we'll put this in brackets, times 1/2 to the power of 7, which is 5/4. Part C, find the value of the sum of the first 8 terms of the sequence. So S8. So let's bring up the formula for sum of a finite geometric sequence. And as I said before, this is given in the formula booklet. So there it is over there. And we know that in this sequence, A was 160. We know that R was 1/2. And the number of terms we're summing is 8. So S8 equals A 160, 1 minus R to the power of n over 1 minus R. And if we put that in the calculator, it should just give us a numerical answer. So 160, 1 minus 1/2 to the power of n over 1 minus 1/2, which is equal to 1275 over 4, or 318.75. I think I prefer the decimal in this case, 318.75. And that's that. That's how to use the formula for the sum of the first n terms of a geometric sequence. So let's do another example. And this one you can see is more situation problem based. So it says a business made a profit of £50,000 in its first year of trading. It's predicted that the future profits at the end of each year will increase year by year as a geometric sequence with common ratio r. So I'm going to pause there and just try and interpret what that's told us. So it's told us that there's a geometric sequence that the profit follows, and the first profit is £50,000. So that's telling us that A equals 50,000. R equals, well, we can't tell yet. So let's now read part A. It says, write down an expression for the profit predicted by this model in year n. Well, if we don't know R, then we're just going to have to go for it, but use the letter R in the formula. So part A, let's write an expression for the profit. So any term of the sequence, the nth term, the profit in year n, is given by, and you need to remember this formula, A R to the n minus 1. Part B. The model predicts that in year n the profit will first exceed 200,000. Show that n is bigger than log 4 over log r plus 1. Have a think about this, pause it, see what you can do, but I'll crack on. So we want the profit in year n, which we know to be 50,000 r to the n minus 1, to be bigger than 200,000. It's exceeding 200,000. So, continuing with that, rearranging that, if I divide by 50,000, I get r to the n minus 1 is bigger than, well, 200,000 over 50,000 is 4. And this is where logarithms comes in. So we're going to take logs of both sides. Now the questions use log base 10, so that's what we're going to use. So log of r to the n minus 1 is bigger than log of 4 divided by log of r. And this is the point which you've got to be careful, because we've just divided by something, an inequality. In an inequality, if we divide by a negative, then we must flip the inequality sign. So is log of r negative or not? Well, log of r isn't negative because the profit is increasing each year. If the profit's increasing each year, that means the ratio must be bigger than 1. Therefore, log of r can't be negative, so we're not going to flip the inequality here. But at this point, in a lot of questions, we would have to flip the inequality, so you must be vigilant when doing this. Always look at whether what you're dividing by is negative or not, so that you know whether to flip the inequality or not. Okay, then going in for the kill here, that tells us that n is greater than exactly what we're asked to show, log 4 over log r plus 1. Okay, part C. Assuming that the growth in profits of the company is 5% each year, stop reading, write that down in maths. That tells us that the common ratio is what? Pause it, write it down, then check it against my answer. So R is 1.05 if the profits are grown by 5% each year. Determine in which year of trading the profits will exceed £100,000. So we've done the method for this in part B for £200,000. So we're going to try and apply it now to £100,000. So we want where UN, i.e. 50,000, and this time we know that R is 1.05 to the n minus 1 is bigger than 100,000. So let's try and spot the similarity between this answer that we're about to find and this question here. So on this question, when we did 200,000 divided by 50,000, that gave us the number 4, and that 4 carried through the rest of the question. Well, if we do 100,000 divided by 50,000, we can skip out a lot of working by just comparing it to this one. It's going to be exactly the same answer, but with just log 2 in there and 1.05 on the bottom. So let's follow it through. So that means that n is bigger than log 2 over log of 1.05 plus 1 equals, let's see what that's equal to. So log of 2 divided by log of 1.05 plus 1 equals 15.21. So n is bigger than 15.21. Therefore, in year 16, the profit will first exceed 100,000. £100,000. There we go. All good. And D, it's asked us to find the total amount of profit in all of the years that the company's been trading up to and including this year. It's asking us to find S16. So part D, S16. So pause it if you want, get the relevant formula up. Always have your formula sheet to hand when doing this. If you haven't got one, Google it. Google your exam board's formula sheet and print one out. It's imperative that you've got it. So S16 equals A (1 minus R to the power of n over 1 minus R, which is equal to, let's just type that in the calculator, get the final answer. 50,000 1 minus 1.05 to the power of 16 over 1 minus 1.05 equals, did it ask for it to any degree of precision? No, so let's write the exact number out to the nearest penny. 1182874 and 59 pence. £1,182,874 and 59 pence. And because it was an in context question, the answer should also be in context. So that's geometric sequences for you. Have a go at some questions now.